It's another beautiful day in the Bay Area. Welcome to Shared Bites, a show about sharing experiences both inside and outside of the gaming world. My name is Andy. As always, I'm here with my buddy Justin. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. I'm good. It's actually sunny today, which is like kind of surprising given that it's February 5th.
Yeah, sometimes we're kind of faking it when we say that. It's another beautiful day in the Bay Area.
That's kind of the shtick, I think. It's not usually sunny in the Bay Area. And I think Phil, our groundhog, saw a shadow, or didn't see a shadow, right? Wait, is it if he sees a shadow?
I thought he did.
Okay, so this is more winter, basically, right?
More winter, yeah.
Okay, so if he sees a shadow, more winter. Yeah. So even with the 6 weeks of winter, we got the sun out here, and it's actually pretty warm from what I hear, right? So has it been the high 60s, 70s?
Yeah, it's pretty warm right now. I was thinking about turning on my air conditioner because I got the windows open to get some natural light in here, but I'm a little sweaty wearing the long sleeve, you know?
Wow. Okay. No, I say this because I just got back from New York, where it was like 10. It was
like frigid. I'm
between 0 and 19 degrees. Let's say.
What were you doing in New York?
I was there for a friend's birthday, celebrating a friend's birthday. But it had a nice 48 hours basically in New York. Did all the things.
Nice. I love New York. I love to visit.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Did you have any pizza while you were there?
Yeah, I made sure to get my Joe's Pizza.
Joe's, yes.
Yeah, so it's there's a couple things in New York I always have to get when I go there. I got to get my pizza, I got to get my bagel, and I got to get my halal cart. That's like the three things.
There's a go-go curry there as well that I didn't realize until the last time I was in New York.
Oh, I did not know either. But I don't like curry.
Japanese
so
curry.
Japanese curry. Oh,
yeah,
I still don't like curry.
Yeah.
But
I think Japanese curry might be my favorite food. Anyway, I digress.
Nice. But it's the best part of New York, so you can find anything you want there. Really, anything that you love is going to be a good version of it there. I'd say at least, or because it's such a melting pot of different cultures that any kind of food's going to be great there. But it was funny because so kind of a whiplash in a good way coming back to this nice weather, and now this week is also the Super Bowl is on Sunday here in the Bay Area, and I've been looking on the feeds, and everyone's in from out of town right now, right? So everyone's here from all over the country trying to look at the Super Bowl, and people are just amazed that it's sunny here versus if they're from the East Coast. The Patriots aren't into the Boston. People from Boston are here, and they're just flabbergasted that we got 70 degrees and sunny here.
Yeah, there's
snowing.
There was a news crew as far down here as San Mateo, which is pretty far away from where the game's actually happening. But I guess it turns out that from San Francisco, I guess
Santa Clara.
Right. I guess it turns out that Tom Brady is from San Mateo.
Yes, he is.
So they were here doing a story about that or something. I was like, oh, wow. So I was like, hey, that's B Street. No, I didn't see him. No.
But yeah, it's a fun week. I'm going to try to actually get out in San Francisco and see some of the stuff they got going on here. There's a lot of activations, so they say, in the industry,
Nice.
but basically kind of sponsored pop-up locations where you can get swag.
Are you going to bring your Ray-Ban glasses out and do some perspective videography of the events.
Yeah, we can see.
That could be fun. I always enjoy those when you post them. You've worn those to film festivals and stuff. I remember videos of you wearing those on the red carpet at events. It's cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
I really enjoy those.
Kind of mini GoPros for that usage. So
it's really cool.
Anyway, but it is a beautiful day here, and yeah, I've been through a lot.
Remember how we were just talking about how we're going to keep this show moving and we're not going to rabbit hole and we're not going to take a ton of time.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the that's the beauty of sharing experiences. You see things that you you love and you want to speak more of. But yeah, no, a lot of great time there. Ate lots of good food. Went to musical. Went to a DJ show. Walked around. I mean, yeah, there's lots to unpack there. But I also did the Sundance Film Festival online, it's been a wild week for me.
You did it online?
I did it online. So
how does that work?
Online. What's that?
How does that work?
So Sundance, since the pandemic, has been able to put some of their films online to watch. So you don't actually have to go to Park City to take part in festivities. They have Sundance, for those of you who don't know, is a film competition. It's a film festival, but it's also a competition, and every year, and it's always in January, which is great in terms of I feel like it's a great time because January is a pretty slow month for movies, for anything in general, honestly. Not a lot.
People are still moving pretty slow after the holidays.
People are still moving through slow after the holidays. I think all of us are in that boat. So it's a nice jolt in the butt to oh, this is cool. There's new stuff here. And Sundance is great because it's all independent films mostly, and or films that are like, I mean, everything there's a brand new premiere, so no one's ever seen this before. So it's not, and it's at a good time of year where it's like, we got through the holidays, we got to the end of the year, and that's like, and Sundays usually kind of like, the mid to late part of the month. So it's not like it's like in the beginning of the month where, you're kind of like, it's like, it's a time of the month where you're like, okay, let's get this year going. Let's get 2026 going. But since the pandemic, they've been able to show at least the films in competition. So there's multiple categories of competition that they have at Sundance. There's the dramatic competition, which is what you think of when you think of a movie, right? It's like a fictional drama or comedy or whatever it is, a dramatic, like fictional movie. And then Sundance also has a documentary competition, and their documentary competition is widely considered, I think, to be like the best in the world. It's like the best in class. I think last year at the Oscar, or this current Oscars, which is weird because the Oscars are for the previous year, but the Oscars are in March. This is even worse. Like, why are the Oscars in March? Another topic for another day. But all 5 of the documentary nominations for the Oscars this year, 2026 or 25, premiered at Sundance last year. So it's kind of considered to be like the best, like, kind of showcase showground for documentary movies. And they have those are the 2 kind of main competition categories, documentaries and dramas. And then they also have they also differentiate between like United States and world. So it's an international film festival, but they, it's because it's in the U.S. They have a U.S. specific a category in there. So there's basically 4 categories in the competition. And then they also have another section of like premieres, which is kind of like where, if there's like a bigger, more well-known director, by well-known, they're doing like an independent movie, or there's like a movie that already has like a distributor, like A24 or whoever, like they want to like have a premiere there, and it fits within, their kind of ethos, the indie ethos. Then they'll do that there as well. So, but those films are usually not available online because they're like, those are films that they kind of see are kind of more, premium or whatnot. So they want to make sure that gets its own like thing, or it's its own premiere with and like a real release later in theaters and stuff. A lot of the films in competition, if not all of them, do not have distribution. That means that they may never ever come out. And part of the reason why they're at the festival is to showcase it to
a distributor,
certain distributors, showcase it to their peers. And it's a way to like kind of jumpstart the process to hopefully getting more people to see the film.
Oh, cool.
And so sometimes at Sundance you'll see like bidding wars, they say, what is interesting. So they'll some of the distributors go like, nowadays it's like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, as well as like the kind of the bigger studios like Sony Pictures or A24. But
are there any examples of a movie that you saw at Sundance or at another festival that never ended up coming out, and you're like, oh man, it was so good, I wish I could watch it again?
Yeah, countless movies, right?
Really?
I'd have to like pull up a list because like my brain is like brushed up. But there are so many films that like are never got distribution, or they never see the light of day, and which is sad because like a lot of them are pretty cool. A lot of them are like not necessarily the best movies. So some of them are like really cool like concepts. So Sundance is there's also a next category where it's like kind of more experimental like showcase. There's like one last year about the Zodiac killer, but it's like a half documentary, half like fictional thing, and it's like, so there's a lot of like experimentation with like film styles and like kind of different multimedia that never. So yeah, so that's a crash course on the amount of film. But
that's awesome. So you sign up for it and you get a schedule, and then you open up a web browser and they stream them, or how does it work?
Yeah, you stream them. So for the online portion, so there's certain stuff that you can watch online, and they sell like these online packages where like you can buy like you can buy a la carte, you can buy each screening, or you can buy a pack of 10. Earlier in the or late in the year, late in the previous year. So I bought a pack of 10 last like November when they first announced, because you get like you get first dibs on the screening. So the screenings will sell out. So this is like a thing where I think they've worked out with like the filmmakers where they sell a certain amount of tickets. So even if you're watching it online, there's still like a capped amount. So just so it's like not just blasted everybody.
Right.
And so just
you
to keep the kind of
retain that exclusivity,
and also just kind of like that, I don't know, like that feeling of like a certain few people get to see it. And it's not cheap. It's like, I think it's like $35 per screening, which is not like, that's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it's also like more than a normal like a night at the movies, or if you rent a movie online. But the flip side is that you get to see something extremely early, and something that may never come out. So that's like, So there's a lot of different strategies when you pick your program, because from in my head, I'm trying to like balance something that's like, oh, this already has distribution, so I can see it later. Whereas this other one, like, it looks cool, but it may never come out. So maybe that's the move, so it's always like a push pull there. But I always go by like kind of like, previous directors that I've enjoyed, or like the cast, something the cast is really good. So yeah, but it's a really cool experience. I mean, I think even online, it's great. Like I loved this during the pandemic because they gave me something to do. And when we were on lockdown, this is like the best thing to do because you're already at home watching movies, but here's something where you can actually kind of feel, connected to like kind of the sense of discovery, sense of newness. I think during the pandemic, they actually had a chat room that they pulled up where you could talk to people like about to watch the movie, which is really cool. And then and they did all their Q&As with the filmmakers like within like a Zoom kind of scenario. Oh, cool. So people could actually ask questions to like the film crew and like the film stars. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so it's cool. I remember like I definitely saw some famous people like there. So it was really cool to be able to like kind of interact with them. So it really built that kind of community. And obviously over the years, like, as the world's opened up again, they kind of, every other film festival has moved away from this. So Sundance is the last one that does an online portion. And they kind of like, I think they saw how well it did. So they kept that going. But now there's no more online component because, you can go in person, obviously, you can talk about it. But they always make sure to have like at least the things in competition. So that's what I focus more for most of my, my watch on. But,
cool. So, have you been like updating your letterbox as you're watching these, or like is there an NDA thing, or how does it work?
Nope, no NDA. I think it's fair game. If it's had its world premiere, so it's basically premiered for the world. Cool. During the screening at Park City or there. So, Letterboxd is actually great tool that I use and lots of people use. I think 2026. I think hopefully a lot of our listeners know what Letterboxd is, but if not, it's a social media network for films. It's specifically social. It's basically only for films, and you can rate your films. You can write a review. You can make a watch list. You can see what other people wrote about the movies. And my favorite thing about this social network is that there's no algorithm. It's not trying to feed you stuff. It's purely like your own personal journal where you can, if you want to, you can see what other people thought about a movie, or you can see like an average rating. So it's kind of like if you're looking at IMDb ratings or like user reviews on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, you can see it's kind of like that vibe. But I like these reviews better because generally the people who use this social media network are more into film, so they're a little more I don't want to use the word educated, but a little more kind of like cinema tuned than like the average kind of internet troller. So
sure.
So
you're not these aren't getting review bombed by random passersby on Steam.
Or it's hard. I mean, it's less common. Let's say I think review bombing is sadly a thing in almost everywhere nowadays, but generally, like, you'll see. But especially about film festivals, because no one's seen these films before, right? So you're going to a film blind. No one's seen this. Everyone's on the same boat. Cool. So I actually use Letterboxd a lot, especially during film festivals like Sundance, because I can see so I missed the premiere, but I can see like what the first 20 people thought of the movie. And from there you kind of make your, maybe I should switch my movies, or maybe I should do this one instead or whatnot. And so it's kind of a fun, like, kind of like a real time, like a bellwether of what's going on, which is really cool.
That's such a great way to watch a movie. As I get older, I am so much more interested in going to a movie that I know nothing about, going totally blind to something. Okay. I love going into movies totally blind.
You're not like most people, I'd say.
Just like, sure, if there's the new, when the Doomsday trailer drops, I'll watch the trailer for that. But, random movies, if it's something that, if I watch a trailer for something and it looks interesting, I'll be like, oh, and then I'll like tune out everything else. I won't watch any more trailers. Or if I hear somebody say like, I just saw this and it was really good, I'll make a bookmark of that and, maybe I'll go watch it. I love like, hey, I heard somebody say this was good, but I've never seen a trailer. I know nothing about it. I'm just going to walk in and see what happens. Because then you get the purest, the most unadulterated version of that experience that the filmmaker had of you going in, that opening scene. You are learning for the very first time what this movie is, what this world is, who these characters are. You're not influenced by the marketing team who was paid to promote the movie, You're getting the filmmaker's true intent, which I think is Marketing teams are very important, but they can also do a lot of damage if they are not careful. There have been so many movies where it's like you watch a trailer, and this is the classic refrain where it's like, oh, it gave away the whole movie. Watch a trailer.
Especially that, yeah.
Now it just like gives you the full, like, the first act is going to be about this, and then it's somehow the third act is going to end up over here. So you before the movie even comes out, you're trying to figure out, like, how do they get from here to here? The gears are turning.
Yeah, it's for sure. And yeah, it's sadly, I mean, a great example of this is like Marvel movie from last year or a couple years ago with the
Ant-Man
movie. No, the one with the Red Hulk, Captain America.
Oh, that one, yeah.
They put the Red Hulk in the trailer
on the poster for the movie.
The poster, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's
but then the whole movie, they're like, "Oh, is he gonna do it?
No,
is it gonna happen?"
That spoiled the best part of the movie. I mean, the movie was only good because it would have been decent if that was if like, oh crap, that happened.
I thought it was a pretty good movie, but that did elevate it.
But to your point about something like giving away the movie, that gave away the twist of the movie, right? That's something no one. I mean, I know who the Red Hulk is. You probably do from reading comic books. But
that would have been so cool.
But again, that's So, but that's great that I admire you. Oh, I didn't actually know that. So that's great that you you are trusting enough to take those leaps of faith and for
absolutely. That's my preferred way to experience it, and it's the same way in games. Like on I used to be on the PlayStation podcast, and me and some other co-hosts would get into very heated discussions about spoilers and what constitutes a spoiler. And sometimes maybe I took it a little bit too far, but I really value, just because it's hard to be surprised in this day and age, Yep. So to go into something not knowing anything about it and be surprised by it and be able to experience something without being influenced by outside forces, it's such a rare treat these days. So I really value that. And if that experience is taken from me, I get a little upset about it.
Yeah. No, that's I'm the same way. I don't like watching trailers. I'd rather not, because my philosophy also is that if I don't want to see a movie, then I don't need to know anything about it, because I want to see a plan that you do. Yeah. I will say though, like, I think on the flip side, it's like I need to kind of like file a movie away that I like it, that I'm interested. So having that first interest is kind of like that's my favorite use for like kind of these tools such as like OpenCritic or Metacritic or Letterboxd, or I know a lot of people use Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is awful. We can go about this another time. I can tell you exactly why it's awful. Basically, it's something that's been kind of bought by marketing studios and whatnot. It's not really the best tool for that. But where these are useful is like, because we're all on the flip side. I know a lot of listeners and myself, like, we don't have a lot of time, right? Movie's a big commitment. It's at least an hour and a half. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. So you want to know like what you're getting into is at least kind of like worth your time, or at least kind of like worth taking a chance on, let's say. Yeah. So this is where knowing like, a lot of people like this movie, like, okay, then maybe that's a good kind of sense. I got to keep, I should pay attention to it, right? So yeah. I think there's, obviously a little balance of both. So that's where I kind of like,
I will say some of my favorite movies though are like, floating in the 60s, 70s range on Rotten Tomatoes. And, like you said, Rotten Tomatoes is not a trustworthy source, but you can't just live and die by reviews, because everything art is so subjective.
Yeah. Let's take this aside, because I think this is a great topic. We could pull on something. So you mentioned that, like that's, sometimes some of my favorite movies are kind of like have a 60 on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever that is. And that's exactly it. Rotten Tomatoes does not capture the nuance of of a movie like being someone's favorite movie versus someone really hating the movie. So because like your favorite movie, you're going to have 100 to, let's say. Let's say I hate that movie and I give it a 0. It's going to average out at about a 60, right? But it doesn't capture that. It could be your next favorite movie.
Yeah, it's trying to give an absolute score to art, which is. You can't do that. You can say objectively the cinematography was executed poorly on this, but that doesn't affect the way that it resonates with somebody emotionally.
Exactly. Yeah, and especially with the case where and then you have another side for Rotten Tomatoes, you'll have like a movie that is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? But 100% on Rotten Tomatoes only means that 100% of the critics thought it was a 3 out of 5 or better.
Yeah,
which isn't necessarily like the best. Exactly. Everyone thought this movie was mid. Okay.
It doesn't mean that everybody thought it was a 10 out of 10. It means that everybody thought it was good,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I really want to encourage people, and this is like, and we're on the same wavelength, is that give things a shot that aren't necessarily 100% on any aggregate score. I think aggregate scores, keep that in mind, is like it's a useful kind of like, filter or first heuristic to like, okay, oh, like maybe, oh, it's got 100. Okay, that seems like a good thing, but don't turn off something just because it's it's
and always remember that when there's something really hyped up or something really popular, there's always going to be someone who has to be, oh, well, I didn't think it was very good. There's always reviews are sticky, messy stuff. Like you can't trust them. Like you can find reviewers, you can find people, who you trust. You can find people whose opinions you are aligned with and whose opinions you think reflect your values and your opinions.
Absolutely.
Too. But just saying like, oh, well, IGN gave this game a 10. Okay, who out of IGN gave it a 10 out of 10? Was it this person or this person? Because this person hates RPGs and this person it's you gotta think for yourself a little more.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we're both of us are aligned here. I think we'll definitely encourage you to like get out there to find your favorite critic, or at least find some people that you like have aligned taste with. And hopefully from the show you kind of get a good idea of like what Justin's and my tastes are like. I love more story-based games. I love action stuff. Like, the types of things we'll talk about. I think you can kind of like get a sense of like, who to trust basically. And it's me. No, I'm just kidding. But it's, but find that person. I think that's kind of the most important thing. But that's why I love, like these film festivals and like, or even like the analogy for gaming might be if you go to like, I don't know, if you go to like an Indiecade or like a a Double
like
Fine
Day of the Devs
out here in the Bay Area,
sure.
or if you're in these or a mix
like PAX or
PAX.
something like that,
PAX is a great one if you can get out there. Or for LA, if you're happening to LA and you can go to one of the summer Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, that sort of stuff. Where you can kind of discover like new indie games or new games in general, right? Like kind of you're the first person to play it. And that's really cool to have that feeling of like, ooh, I like to play this first, or I can like help people like either recommend a game, or like, oh, I know I want to bookmark this a wish list so I can like get back to when it comes out, or I don't know how to follow this game later. So it's like but there's really nothing like kind of being first on that on the boat, right, or first on like the bandwagon, and you can like kind of later on it's like the best thing, really the best feeling, like when you go like in December when the Game Awards come out and you go, oh, I played Claire Obscure like a year ago and they had a quick demo at Gamescom or whatever, if you were there. But
that sounds like a pretty good segue to me.
Yeah. So what you so I do want to hear what you're playing, but I had a big month of gaming. I finished Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and it going back from our last episode that we were able to talk to. I would definitely say it's my game of the year. It's incredible, and I get the hype. It's amazing. It's so amazing that I went back and got the platinum trophy. Played it on PS5.
How long did it take you to get the platinum after rolling credits on the main story?
It took me probably like, I don't know, let's say like 20 hours, maybe 25 hours.
Yeah. I mean, you were probably riding high after the ending and wanted to spend more time in that world, I assume.
Yeah, no, it's exactly it. Like it was so cool, and like and there's definitely some side quests I wanted to do, but I also, this is where I actually got a recommendation from my friends who've played this game, is that and from the developer. I don't know if you saw this, but he basically recommended that anyone play this game, just finish the game as soon as you can, because the game is tuned for people who are like kind of at the level about where you are at when you without doing too much side questing. Because if you do too much side questing, you're going to literally one shot every boss.
You're just going to steamroll everything.
Yeah, and yes, there's in the game. I think there's ways you can kind of hamstring yourself, right? You can kind of like turn off certain modifiers or turn off different damage.
That's good to know, because I am the kind of player who will go do every side quest before finishing the game.
I'm usually not, but like, but there were such cool side quests that I wanted to do them before, because I want to hear this thread go, this story thread, or this character or whatever. So I managed to do that, which is a good idea. I mean, even then, like I did a couple of side quests just before, and I was really overtuned for the last boss. Like I kind of waltzed through it, which is like fine, but like I think it would have been much more fulfilling if I was able to do that. So recommend to anybody who's playing the game, just kind of finish story first, because it will dump you out like right before the last boss, so you're able to kind of clean everything up,
wrap everything up.
Yeah. There's no point in no return in terms of like
that's good.
Missing any, like being able to go back and do content, right? So
good.
Definitely do that. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like a 60-hour RPG with a platinum is not that much time. I mean, like I think the most I've ever spent on a game in terms of a single player game is probably like Persona, and that Persona 5 Royal, and that's probably like 140 hours, which is a lot of hours, enough for a lot of people here, but for JRPG fanatics, it's not really that many hours. But yeah, for
I'm not going to talk about what my Pokemon Legends ZA time is at right now.
But for E3, for Expedition 33 though, it's just incredible. And the story goes in places like you will not expect, and it's got me really like kind of. I'm
really curious because I got to the end of Act 1. I finished Act 1, and I got maybe an hour into Act 2, and then another game. I think it was Death Stranding 2 came out, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out. And then I went and I hopped over to that and never ended up going back to Clair Obscur, but I need to. You
definitely do. Act 1 is just the tip of the iceberg, and like when you get there are some really, really, really interesting story elements, themes, techniques, or whatnot. I'll say that kind of really make this.
Okay,
and there's a reason why it's such a highly regarded game, and it's not. Narratively, because you think you know what's going to happen just from the beginning, but you really have no idea. I'll say so definitely finish it for you.
I've heard reference to a few things, picked up on little like bits of conversations on Blue Sky, like, oh, did you pick this or this? And it's like, oh wait, what is that? And it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. Like, oh no, then the gears are turning. Like, oh, what does that mean? Like.
Yeah, again, this is one of those things. The games where definitely try not to look at anything because it's kind of. Not easily spoiled, but I guess it is easily spoiled if people tell you kind of certain elements, like you kind of
I'll bet.
It's definitely there's some cool stuff there. And then I also fell in love with the game itself. Like I got better with the pairing and like the pairing situation. Like I there was fights where I had like 180 parries in the fight.
Wow.
Like, and I feel like I thought I had grown out of the my Dark Souls parrying era of my video gaming, but this brought me back. It actually
when I first started playing the game, I was calling it Paper Mario for grown-ups.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. The parrying. Wait, was there parrying in Paper Mario? Or was it just dodging?
It's the timed attacks and blocks.
Yeah,
you can time like if you time a button press with your attack, you do extra damage. And you can time when they're attacking to block and take less damage. So similar, except
it's the same basic idea,
same basic principles.
This takes it a step further.
This levels it way up.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like
turns it into a full-fledged mechanic.
Yeah, it's like a full-on like pro fighting game. Like we don't have frame parrying and like Street Fighter Third Strike, right? It's like you're getting to the point where it's that nuance and that kind of like precise that you have to get to. Obviously, I think you can change like the difficulty, like kind of leniency, I would say. But yeah, I was surprised that I really enjoyed the combat that much because it's got some really unique stuff they could do. And between that, the combat, the story, I think that's where I think really everyone's latching on to, and there's a reason why it's such a highly rated game of the year. I mean, I don't know. I saw that it got more game of the year awards in 2025 than like any other game has gotten for any other year in terms of number of game of the year from different outlets and people and whatnot. So, and it's definitely well deserved. Hopefully, I mean,
congrats to
some people are surprised, but like, yeah, it's
Sandfall, right?
Sandfall, yeah, it's a new dev. But I can't wait to see what they do next, obviously. But yeah, it's an incredible game, incredible soundtrack. I just ordered the vinyl soundtrack.
Nice.
I didn't get the collector's edition because that's insanely expensive. It's like $200-$300. Which I love it. I love the vinyl, but
deluxe edition or whatever one I got.
Yeah, it comes with all this cool stuff. I think it's like a 7 vinyl set. I got the $40 one. That's it's like the greatest hits basically. But just because budget's a little my vinyl budget's a little too strained right now. But yeah, music is incredible and everything about it's incredible. Yeah, definitely.
Congrats to Sandfall and was it Kepler Interactive? I think was the publisher.
Kepler's the publisher, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely worth the hype for sure.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I'm looking forward to going back to it. That reminds me, I never got more than maybe 10 hours into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh geez, yeah.
That's another one I got to get back to before. I somehow haven't been spoiled on whatever happens in that game. So
great,
someday I need to.
Someday, yeah. Do that. I mean, they just announced the Final Fantasy Rebirth for Switch 2 this morning real fast, which is interesting. And the one nugget that I saw there, because I've been in the Magic the Gathering recently, is that they're including a special Zack Fair card with a Tetsuya Nomura variant art for the Zack Fair. The only place you can get it is in that Switch.
By buying that physical edition?
That Switch 2 physical edition, which tempted me, but I am not going to rebuy that game for $8.
You could just buy that game, sit on that card for a few months, and then sell it, and it'll pay for itself.
Well,
but don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Don't do that, but that card will be probably worth a decent amount of money just because it's the only place you can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a cool Nomura art. Anyway.
Why?
Yeah, yeah, so definitely go back to that at some point. You got to finish that game. But yeah, how about you? What have you been up to recently?
I briefly alluded to Pokemon Legends ZA. I went into the holiday break. Me and my son were playing a lot of that, and that kind of carried me through the break. And I am pleased and equally ashamed to say that I just completed the DLC Pokédex. So I have a full, complete living dex for the base game and the DLC now. So I really hope they add Pokemon Home support soon before like my Switch decides to crap itself and I lose the save file, because that would suck. I have a friend who they have a kid and they lost their save file because the kid broke the Switch and they lost their whole save because they don't let you back up your Pokemon save file. Because people are going to duplicate their Pokemon. Oh, no. So you can't back up your Pokemon save file. So, yeah, hopefully that Pokemon Home support comes soon. I've been going back and playing... Oh, by the way, Pokemon Legends ZA is an excellent game. If you have any love for Pokemon, I super recommend it. If you've been on the fence, if you're curious about it, check it out. It's a really fun take on the formula because it's an action game. It's a real-time battle system. It's not turn-based. And you still have the 4 moves, but they're all on cooldowns based on how much speed your Pokemon has and all that stuff. But it's a really interesting take on the Pokemon kind of battle system, like all the type matchups and all that, converting that into an action game. I think they did a really admirable job at that, and it's really fun to play. I have a lot more fun playing it than I do mainline Pokemon games because I'm kind of over turn-based combat at this point. Like you were saying, the Expedition 33 combat system, they do some fun, interesting things, and they really elevate the turn-based combat, and they make it really fun.
Yeah, it's really engaging.
The Pokemon went the other direction, and they just removed turn-based entirely and made it an action game. And man, it's so much fun. I have such a great time playing that game and completing my living dex. I've gone back and I'm trying to complete my living dex for Pokemon Legends Arceus now. I'm hoping that game gets a Switch 2 update someday, because man, it still runs at 30 FPS even on Switch 2, and I've gotten very used to 60 FPS from Pokemon Legends ZA. Anyway, I'm deep in Pokemon mode right now, so a lot of that. I also checked out the Animal Crossing Switch 2 update that came out just a couple weeks ago, and it is a little underwhelming. It also still runs at 30 frames per second on Switch 2. Animal Crossing runs at 30 frames per second on Switch 2. So it's like the resolution is a little higher, and like you can have 12 people on the island now if everybody has the Switch 2 version. And like there are a few little fun little gimmicks and stuff, like mouse controls for redecorating things, which is cool. But come on, 60 FPS. Like, please, just let me play Animal Crossing at 60. Anyway, we're playing a lot of Animal Crossing. I just made 4 million bells on turnips yesterday because I gotta buy that new house storage upgrade, and I need to help my kid get his house upgrades because he's on the island now. So yeah, lots of Nintendo games lately. Lots of Pokemon Go, going to the park and doing that stuff.
Nice.
Fully. Oh, by the way, did you get any shiny Ho-Ohs the other day?
No, I was in New York and we just landed on a plane, but I was like proud of myself for getting a Ho raid done by myself because, I was carrying a group of 4.
Wow.
I was in the Uber on the way to the hotel, and I was the last person standing, and I was half paying attention to the Ho that this were so Dynamax Ho,
trying to make sure you get where you're going in real life.
Yeah, and I was trying to like get out of the Uber and check in. I actually had to check into the hotel, so I was going to do both. Talk to the receptionist, and
while you're carrying these three other.
Yeah, while I had my like phone on one hand just tapping away, but like having to like have paying attention. And I beat the Ho with like 0.0 on the clock in terms of like life bar,
wow.
which is a really big
3-star at least.
So I don't remember what it was. I didn't even care. I don't even check.
Well, congrats. That's a cool story, at least, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's a cool story getting it. And it might have been like at least an attack, 15 attack, which is all you want from a Dynamax anyway.
Nice.
But yeah, that was very exciting. Wow. So no shinies for me, but did you get any, or do you have several?
I didn't get any shinies, but I got a 4-star. I got a hundo.
You got a hundo, nice.
Yeah. So that's
even
cool.
better. That's more useful.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, Pokemon Go continues to be fun. They are definitely monetizing it more, so I'm trying to be careful that I don't get sucked too much into that. But yeah, still fun excuse to get out to the park and go catch some stuff with the family or with some neighbors and some friends.
Get out there,
go out and do stuff. It's been a good time. And then just there was the whole we haven't had a show since our holiday break. So I had the whole holiday trip where we went to Disneyland and Disney California Adventure and did all kinds of amazing fun stuff there. They had it all holidayed out. And it's our 5-year-old's second time going there. We went to Disney California Adventure last year, and that was his first time ever going to a Disney park. This time we did Disneyland, and then the next day did Disney California Adventure. Yeah,
combo.
And he had a great time. He's not quite ready for like your Space Mountains and your Big Thunder Mountains and all that stuff, but I went on Space Mountain. Just meant that I got to go on lots of single rider stuff. Including, shouts out to the guy running the Rise of the Resistance line later in the evening that day, because I asked, I went up and I was like, hey, is there like a single rider situation? He said no, but how big is your party? And I said, well, it's just me. I got 2 other people, but they can't go. And he was like, well, what are they going to do? Just wait for me. I don't know.
For you, yeah.
He said, well, that sucks. They're going to be bored. How about, tell you what, you just go in here. Just go in here. And he pushed me into the lightning lane or the fast pass lane or whatever. And I was like, oh, dude, thank you. So, but he stayed in character the whole time. I saw him on the way out. He's like, oh, did you get out okay? Everything all right? Are you safe?
Was it like a stormtrooper kind of guy or like a mercenary?
No, it was like one of the cast members manning the line. He was just wearing, Disney clothes or whatever. But he was still very because everyone in Galaxy's Edge is very, they don't break character. So he was very much like, oh, did your tour go okay? Are you all right? So it was like, thanks, man. That was awesome. I really appreciate what you did for me. Oh, okay, glad you're safe. Yeah. And so, but yeah, Rise of the Resistance. Speaking of going into things blind, I went into Rise of the Resistance blind, and man, what a ride. I'm not going to describe it too much because I would love other people to go into it blind. Yeah, but I'm glad I did. It does a lot of different things. It uses some modern theme park technology in really interesting ways. It is like 3 different rides in one. It's kind of like an experience and a ride and like a show. I don't know. There's like show-like elements.
Performance
a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's really cool, really impressive. I was like, going back to that feeling of like, it's hard to be surprised these days.
Of course.
I went into this ride, and it's the first time I've gone on a new thing and been like had that feeling of awe, that feeling of amazement. Like there are a couple moments that I'm not going to spoil, but it's like something will happen and I'll be like, what? That's how. There's some cool stuff. And then I went on YouTube and I was like looking up how do they do that? And oh, there's some cool stuff. There's some cool techniques at play on this ride. I really recommend it. If you haven't been on Rise of the Resistance yet, it's a thumbs up.
I do want to go. Yeah. I mean, I just want to, I think, latch on to that feeling of oh my God, that's so cool. I think hopefully that's part of our shows that we're going to try to find some of those moments and we can share those. But I think
real quick on the Rise of the Resistance thing, on that note, while you're in Galaxy's Edge, what we did is we signed up for, there's a dinner reservation you can get at a place called Docking Bay 7, I think, Docking Bay 9, Docking Bay 7, one of those things. And you sign up and it's like dinner time, nighttime gathering is what they call it. And so you go and it's a prefix menu with all this alien food, which was like fine. But the cool part of it is you have a dedicated viewing area for the projection mapping show they do on the rocks at 8:30 or whatever. And I was pretty much like, projection mapping, whatever, that's cool. But I went and I watched it because we had this dedicated area. And it was really cool. It's a really cool summary of the first 6 movies, basically, leading into the new trilogy, because that's when they had that stuff all set up. And then you also get to use that private viewing area for the fireworks, which are half an hour later, something like that.
Sure.
And they're you're right underneath them. So, and it's the same fireworks that the people over on Main Street are seeing, and that's all synced up to the Christmas music or the Disney music or whatever. But if you're watching it here, it's synced up to a whole Star Wars show, a whole Star Wars music and Star Wars imagery and stuff like that. It was really cool. I definitely recommend, if you have the means, check out that nighttime gathering at Docking Bay 7 or whatever it's called, because it takes the stress. You get to watch the fireworks without having to try and find a good spot, without jostling with other people trying to get a spot on the sidewalk or whatever. Man, it was a little pricey, but it was worth it, especially having a kid with us. Man, I'm glad that we did that.
That's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. For sure. But that's a good tip.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, I know that feeling that you get when like you like find or like experience something or play a game or watch a movie or whatever it is that you kind of feel like you want to tell everybody about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Or you want to go like on a YouTube or Reddit kind of like rabbit
and
hole.
learn
like,
more. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah, it's how did they, or you want to know, we don't know about, you want to know more about it. You want to like find
mean?
out more if there's sequels, or if there's like things you could do on top of the world. Like,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, this is the kind of stuff we want to like pull on more. I know as we kind of have different talks, like, there's got to be a way we got to like figure out how to like what to call this phenomenon. I think we'll definitely workshop it, but you know, some of these like characteristics, right? It's like, oh, like the feeling you literally can't wait to talk about somebody with, like the rabbit holes, or you know,
we should start a podcast.
Yeah, start a podcast and talk about it with people. But I think it'll be really fun to like kind of like, you know, there's got to be a new term for this. Maybe workshop this term, like
excitement.
It's like this like umami
Hype.
Of excitement. I don't know what that
umami
is.
Of excitement.
But that's when, you know, we found something that good, right? It's like there's stuff, you know, when you go to restaurants, like, oh, that's fine, you know, I'm glad I went there. I'm not sad about it. But it's not like you want to go back. But if you find a good pizza place, it's like, oh crap, I can't wait to go back. Or when
are you going to be in town? I got to take you to this one place.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like made such an impression on you that you have to, you want to recommend it to people.
Yeah.
That's the kind of experiences and like stuff that we want to like talk more about. But
heck yeah. Heck yeah. So that's it for my, like, what I've been up to, I suppose.
Okay. No, that's all. Yeah. Good.
You want to move on?
Sure. Yeah, what do you got?
So, we can move on to some recent news headlines if you want to talk a little bit about...
what'd you see?
So, you know what? Actually, one of these headlines I was going to move up to my little section here. So let me talk a little bit about Horizon Hunter's Gathering, which, since talking about video games, I signed up for the beta for this. This is the new Horizon game being developed by Guerrilla. Just got announced this morning as we're recording this. There's a PlayStation blog post where they talk about it, and a 8 or 9 minute video where they have kind of the intro cinematic, and then they show some gameplay. Really stylized take on the Horizon universe with some fast-paced looking multiplayer. There's lots going on here. I see like shades of Monster Hunter, but also with some Helldivers, and like there's a lot going on here. It looks like they're taking elements from lots of other interesting multiplayer games and trying to do something with the Horizon IP. So anyway, I signed up for the beta. It looks really compelling. The question in my mind becomes, how compelling is this going to be on repeated runs? Because they said it's you know, we have these different game modes and they're meant to be played repeatedly. So what's going to be the hook that keeps me coming back to play these things over and over? Is it going to be like Monster Hunter, like crafting new armor to make myself stronger? There's like roguelike elements too, so remains to be seen how the gameplay loop is all going to fit together. But I'm excited to check it out because it looks really sleek. It looks really fun, and I love Horizon, and I'm a Guerrilla cheerleader. I hope that they succeed.
Yeah, we love Guerrilla. I mean, people forget like Guerrilla did Killzone before they watched on the.
They
Horizon
got the multiplayer
series,
chops.
So yeah, they have that multiplayer DNA in like their in studio. So hopefully they can kind of rediscover that, because I think we haven't seen a game from them other than Horizon in the last over a decade. So
yeah, I actually think it's really cool that they're doing this like multiplayer, super stylized, kind of cartoony looking style.
I'm gonna like kind of be the devil's advocate here. So I feel like that cartoony kind of like. I don't know. It feels like it's kind of it feels very generic to me, honestly. Like this like cartoony kind of. It reminds me of Immortals, Phoenix Rising from a few years ago.
It feels like they're trying to make it like hero shooter style.
Yeah, this generic hero shooter kind of glut that we've kind of had over the last couple of decades.
However, I'm glad that they didn't just take the easy. Well, I guess it wouldn't be easy, but the route of just trying to make it look like Horizon. Like, because we've already got two really great looking, super high fidelity single player Horizon games. Like doing the multiplayer, obviously they couldn't make it look that good, but I'm glad that they went in a completely different direction rather than trying to keep it in the same style. I'm like, oh no, Horizon has to be like a AAA looking, like high fidelity, beautiful first part.
I think that also make it stand out more. I think we're in a day and age where everything looks the same in terms of this like anime, half like, and Avatar in terms of like just skin level, like generic looking character designs. And I think honestly having having just lifting the models from Forbidden West might have actually made it stand out more than.
Well, I don't think that would work in a multiplayer. I think that probably like if they wanted to do that, I don't know if they'd even be able to, because that was a single player game with one character with lots of.
But I'm kind of I'm super fatigued in all these hero shooters. I don't know if you are.
I am too. But
I was gonna tell you I played some Highguard, which came out last week on beta, which is I think it's made by a bunch of ex Infinity Ward, ex like Apex, Titanfall kind of devs.
Yeah, ex Respawn folks.
And it's kind of a weird. It's weird only because I'm kind of like torn on this game because I think I respect that they're trying to do something different with Highguard. So it's like a 3-on-3. Shooter is a weird word to say, but it is a shooter because you've got like shotguns and rocket launchers and grenades, but you're in like a medieval setting. Like you can ride a horse. It's like they got castle sieges. Like it's very interesting. Kind of, it was very like different, but also feels a little haphazard. Kind of.
I heard it takes a lot of different things and like tries to smash them all into.
Yeah, it smashes there's a lot of like components to it, and I only get to one game and the tutorial and stuff, but. It's got like a multi-phase 3-on-3 attack where like the first phase is you mine resources, kind of like your Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever. Like, then you get resources to fortify your base. So that's like one phase. So you actually will ride around on your mount, and you kind of mine stuff and you buy stuff like it's like League of Legends or a MOBA where you're buying armor or weapons or whatnot. And then after that phase, there's a phase where like you like battle it out. But it's basically like a one flag CTF mode where you're like you go to this location where there's like this sword, they call it the siege breaker, and like you and the other team like fight it out to see who can like bring the sword back to the other team's base. So that's like say phase 2, and then there's the last phase is kind of the siege where like whoever ends up bringing it to the base gets to like I guess do a multi-level siege where you're basically having to essentially like detonate the core of their castle. I mean, for lack of a better word, but it's like it's defend the base scenario where one team has to defend from their base from being destroyed.
If I was in one of those games, I would just booby trap my own flag.
Booby trap. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that. There's like you can that's why you're.
Oh wait, can you? I was just making a joke. I was just saying if I was a character in a capture the flag game, I would just like put a bomb on the flag, and when they grab it.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that actually. But you use your I didn't get any bombs in that situation, but you can obviously camp the flag. You can do what the usual CTF stuff. But yeah, it was multi, and then it's. Yeah, I realized that took a while to explain, and that's hard because these games are so hard to explain now. Like,
because they're all they got to try and do something different, right? So I guess in this case, it's like do everything,
do everything different. Yeah, which I'm a seasoned gamer, so I kind of picked up on the mechanics, but this is something that's going to be really hard to pick up and play if you don't know what's going on, or it's going to take you a while to figure out like what to do.
That's what the genre needs: more impenetrable multi-layer systems.
Like multi-mechanics. And the problem is also like you're match made. So I was lucky I got people who kind of knew what they're doing. So we kind of we won the match. Great, I'm going to retire on top. Because I had other friends who tried and they got match made with people who just basically quit like a third of the way in, and they had a shady experience because it's not fun if everyone's like not on the same page of like how to actually play the game. That's the first step of there. But bringing this back to Horizon is that the character designs in that game, again, I know it's being criticized, but I will have to say that it looks fairly generic. It looks the same as this this generic half anime spiky hair, like low poly count.
There's some gotcha looking characters in there. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm curious to see what Guerrilla can do with this format.
Yes,
I want to see
given the pedigree. Yes, I signed up for the beta too. Like I love to play. We should play when it comes out, or when we're able to. And it is. I mean, the combat in Horizon is so cool that it's like hopefully they capture that.
It looks a lot more fast paced than like standard. So I agree. I'm curious to see what the combat feels like because it looks more fast paced. But they also talk about like capturing the essence of Horizon. So. I really want to see where that lands. I also, one thing that I thought was interesting watching it is the whole time, like the guy who's presenting the director, he is talking about the whole time you can tell he's like couching it like, look, we know you love single player games. We're still going to make single player games. But the whole time I was waiting for him to be like, look,
the talking points.
They told us we had to make a multiplayer game. Just take it and then we'll get back to the good stuff. Just so we'll see, but it looks like fun and I want to play it.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but yeah, but it does honestly give me Highguard vibes, and that's why I'm kind of I had to explain what Highguard was, and also to say that's the case because I saw in the post and in the doc that there's part of a mode where there's like a multi-stage trial, and that literally was Highguard, and so I think that's kind of a big a little bit of a yellow flag for me at least.
I'll give it a shot. We'll see.
And that we're all kind of, I think meaning I feel like a lot of games are kind of a little fatigued on hero-based shooters and stuff. So
I like the IP. I like Horizon, and I want it to succeed.
Yeah, we were rooting for Horizon in general.
Horizon.
But Well, I want to talk about our the big topic of the week, which I think is really exciting. Is that you and I joined a Fantasy Critic Games League.
This is a really fun concept that you told me about a few months ago, and I expressed interest. So when sign-up came time, you reminded me, and I got in there, and we did the draft just a few nights ago. And
about a week ago.
I'm feeling pretty good about my lineup here. How are you feeling about yours?
I feel cautiously okay. I also want to shout out our league, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Who have been really fun and really kind to let you in as well to this league.
Thanks, dudes.
And it was interesting. I'm gonna kind of put this window up so those in the video podcast can see. But I think we talked through I feel like it'd be fun to talk about our experience and kind of how we figured our drafts went. So for those of you who guys have never done this before, it's essentially it's like fantasy games, fantasy sports. So it's like a fantasy football league, but you pick games instead. And by games, I mean we're being scored. The scoring is based off of what the Open Critic score is. So Open Critic, is the aggregate of all the review scores for all the different games out there from reviewers. And I believe the way this works is that if for any game for any score above 75, you'll get plus points for your league for your team, and for any points below that you get minus. 75 is kind of like the bellwether 0. And I believe there's an extra modifier bonus if your game scores over 90. So if you get 90 or above, you get the points above 90 count a little more, I believe. Which I think you're nodding because I don't know if you knew this before going into the game.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
But essentially the point of the goal is kind of to get the highest number of points. And I think we have, let's see, we're counting here one. Trying to look at my screen share all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 games we have on our roster. That's me, by the way. I have the Satisfactory Games. That's me, Renowned. And so 8 games, and you also have a counter pick. So you're able to basically do like a bet against a game that another team has picked that you think is going to do poorly or not come out, basically. So you'll get scored based on the inverse of what they score. So if they get a -10, you get 10 points, and then vice versa. So
this one was a little tough. We got to the end, and I was like, "Oh man, all the good counter picks are already gone." And I had I forget what I even picked, but it needs to be.
You picked Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Yeah, we can put it down here as on the screen share. But essentially, so that's kind of like the game, and then. I think we drafted 5 games during the draft. So during the draft, we all got together. We had a little Discord call, just kind of like to talk a little trash, have a little fun, and kind of each person kind of picks their games. Like in a fantasy football draft, where you draft, in a snake order. We did snake order, so first pick, then second pick, and so on. And then it goes reverse order, coming back around again.
So I had the first pick gets to pick twice.
So I was the first pick of the draft. So so went through all 9 people, and then
you went last on the way back.
Yeah, so I was last on the way back. The first round too. So I had to wait 18 rounds better. So I had to wait 2 rounds before I could pick my next pick. But since then I get to pick 2 in a row, and then it kind of like loops back and forth like a snake. That's why it's called snake draft. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good kind of a fun to kind of go over our lineups maybe a little more in depth.
Yeah. Did you bid on a game? Is that why you have one more than me?
Yes, I did bid on a game, and we can talk about that in a minute. About that. Did I miss anything about the rules? Anything that you actually want to know about the game before given that you're new to the league?
No, I think you already filled in a couple gaps where I was like, I'm not entirely sure what this thing is, but yeah, I had to figure out the counterpick thing while we were doing the draft because I wasn't entirely sure what that meant. But
it's kind of intuitive. And we also all of us have to have a new game franchise. That's what the NGF is here. Right, so it's a counterpick for NGF where. I think it's pretty fun to, just so we spice things up that we're not people aren't kind of just pick sequels because sequels are safe.
Next generation fan-filled. So
there's a lot of ways you could go about building your team, and I want to hear from you what your strategy is in a second. But I'll give mine first since my team is already up here. And I am a veteran of fantasy football. I've played fantasy football for like 20 plus years. I know how to play the game. I know how to do a lot of fantasy drafts. My biggest strategy is I want to mitigate risk. I do not like risk. I don't like a lot of variance, especially, I don't like a lot of variance in my first picks, right? So in the first picks of your draft, you want to make sure that it kind of meets the expectations of being a first pick of the draft or first couple rounds because that's scarce resources. That you want to pick the best available. What do you think is going to be the best available? Same, like in fantasy football, let's say. So I went with Forza Horizon 6 because I think that is probably the safest.
That is a
pick.
very safe bet.
It's a sequel. I think the last few have gotten over 90 on Metacritic.
I think every Horizon game has been well received, and they're great games. Like I can personally tell you, I love the Forza Horizon games.
Oh yeah, no, they're great. They're open world. They're really fun. They feel nice. They got good customization. Everything about it. Turn 10 is great. And it's a good pick. I was saying that I want to go through kind of my thought process during the pick because I had the first pick, so I could literally pick any game in the universe of games.
Why no GTA 6?
I did not pick GTA 6 because I've been traumatized. I had GTA 6 last year and it did not come out, and that screwed me.
Oh no!
So that is probably a bigger reason why I did not pick GTA 6 is because I've been burned before, and I just do not trust Rockstar.
What are the odds that it happens again this year?
I was not about to take that risk. That's why I passed that up. I was going to let it be someone else's problem.
Oh man!
I was so sure last year. Well, actually, you know what? Last year was interesting because if GTA 6 fell to me, I think around the third or fourth pick, because the previous year with the same situation happened. I was like, oh, is it actually going to come out? We all know Rockstar, is always for them. It's really when it's done, it's fun. They do not care about any shareholder expectations or whatnot.
They've got their money, and whenever the game comes out, it will secure their futures for the next 3 console generations.
Yeah, so. It's pretty much the closest guarantee that you can have in terms of a video game, in terms of how well it's going to sell and or be scored. And obviously, if you knew the GTA was going to come out, that's an automatic first pick in any situation of this fantasy game.
Can I just really quick point out, Grand Theft Auto 5 was a 5th best-selling. Grand Theft Auto 5, a PlayStation 3 game, was the 5th best-selling game last month.
Of January 2026. So, which is, it's already February, by the way. This is wild. Anyway, but so that is why. And then, so I was thinking about, do I want Marvel's Wolverine? Like Dominic doesn't really miss. What's one? I was scared off by the fact that it's got a fall window, I think, right now, but you never know. And I just did not want to be stuck with a game that was, in danger of being pushed.
Sure.
It's probably got a good chance of coming out. Hopefully it does. We all hope it does. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I think it probably will, because they're going to need that to be their holiday game, probably.
Yeah, that's kind of the kind of expectation that they've set, but that's why I went with Forza Horizon, because that actually I think just got a release date of May. I think it's actually going to come, and because it's they got a release date out there, and it's like a reliable franchise. I felt that had a that was a pretty safe pick for me, so that's why I went there.
And on the absolute opposite side, with my first pick,
why in the hell did you pick Pokemon Generation 10 unannounced as your first pick?
Because
I know it's your first. I know you're a Pokemon stan.
Yeah. So hold on. This was all
that was quite risky.
Yeah. So A, I've got Pokemon on the brain because of all I've been playing. B, I was in this Discord call in my car on my phone after picking up my son because something came up and I had to go pick up my kid. And so I was trying to do the call while I was like juggling getting my kid unloaded from the car and back up to the back upstairs and everything. So like, and I had to like register for it on my phone, and I was like, I didn't really have time to think too hard. I couldn't look over the list of games or anything. I couldn't get acquainted with the site, so I just had to pull something out of thin air. And I was like, isn't the new Pokemon Days coming up? They're probably going to announce Gen 10, and that'll probably come out this year. So it's if I could do it all over again, I would probably pick something a little safer for my first pick.
Okay.
But,
so a little
but I do have a feeling about the next Pokemon game. I think that it's going to be good.
How are the Pokemon games generally reviewed? Do you know off the top of your head? Like, I actually don't. I actually did not research this. I don't know, like, what the track record.
So here's the thing.
Mainline
Pokemon Legends Arceus came out a few years ago and was like a bold new direction for the game, and was really well received. And then Pokemon Scarlet Violet came out, which was the next mainline game, and was really poorly received because it's clear they didn't have enough time to work on it. It's clear that it was
a side game, right? It wasn't like the mainline.
Legends Arceus is a side. Well, it is technically classified as a mainline game, but it's not. It's not Gen 9.
Yeah.
Pokemon Scarlet Violet is Gen 9.
Yeah.
But it is a 9th generation game, but it's not the tentpole game. I would classify the Legends games as like right underneath the mainline games.
I'm not trying to debate how good they are. I'm trying to say for the Gen.
No, in terms of importance to the franchise, I think that the Legends games are right up there with the mainline games in terms of how important they are to the IP right now, because they've been a lot more well received. That said, I think that based on how poorly Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was received at launch, I think that they're going to put a lot of extra work into this next one to make sure they don't repeat that mistake. Now, that's not to say that I think that it's going to be some bold new, it's going to like uproot the entire series. I think it's going to be iterative from a mechanical perspective. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy that like shifts the way the game is played, but what I'm hoping is that we get something that is a lot more tightened up, because Legends ZA came out and is in a lot better shape, runs a lot better, is a lot more compelling. The systems feel more fleshed out than they did in Legends Arceus. So I hope that everything they've learned over the past few years, and after the mistakes that they ran into with Scarlet and Violet, that Gen 10 is a return to form for the series. So we'll see. It's a hunch, it's a feeling, but I think I've got a good feeling about Pokemon this year. We'll see.
I just looked it up. I think the last few, Pokemon Legends ZA was an 81 on Metacritic. Scarlet was a 72, 73. Violet,
which is too high. Which is too high. That was just because that was just because of hype. That was Pokemon hype that got it that high.
Arceus was 83. They have Brilliant. I don't know if we count Brilliant.
No. Those were farmed out to a different studio.
And then Sword and Shield were 80. So I think you might have had a little Pokemon rose-colored glasses with your scoring.
Hey! I get positive points if it's above 75, right? So if it's, I'm gonna bank on mid to high 80s for Pokemon Gen 10. Okay, mid to high 80s is what I'm aiming for there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be for that kind of like the type of experience that we get. And have you played fantasy sports before? I don't think you have,
nope.
Right? You haven't played fantasy sports. Okay.
This is my first experience with this sort of thing. I don't know how this stuff works. So learning as we go.
So this is, we'll see how this works. I mean, in terms of worked out, because I think similarly, and so I think the point I want to make is that you're kind of picking with your heart, not like with like the cold hard analytics.
I picked with my heart on that first one because I was in a rush to get my kid into the apartment, and I didn't have any information in front of me, so I went with what I could pull from my brain. You'll see more strategy in the rest of my picks.
Okay, we'll go by that. But I think the point is that with fantasy games, it's really hard as a human, because we're both human and we're all like our hearts, and we're like, oh, I love certain players, I love certain teams on different players, and similarly with this is that I know you love Pokemon. I love certain kind of franchises I love too. And it's always tempting to like kind of go with the comfort of like, oh, that's my first pick, that's what I pick. It's like my favorites.
That said, you can't give me too much trash because you picked Beast of Reincarnation, which is by the same developer as Pokemon.
Yeah, but that was a low pick though in the draft. That was a riskier pick. My point with like this is that in my strategy as I was bringing, I was like, for my first couple picks, I need those to be super airtight, like low risk.
You made a better first pick than I did for sure.
I've done this for a year, so I kind of knew like to do that, and I play lots of fantasy sports. So that's kind of where my head was at. But there's no right way or wrong way to play this. I'm just
after I picked it and I started seeing what other people were doing, I was like, oh, I get it now. So
and like the game, I mean, so when you do the draft, there's like there's a list of games that you can see that it's I think it ranks it by like the default pick, so you kind of see, oh, what's the next most hyped game? So you know, you can kind of see if
I didn't have that page in front of me when we were doing the first picks. I was literally on the call. I was like, is the new Pokemon game in there? Can someone look that up for me?
So that's fair enough. But I think it's, and again, I didn't do like enough research for this. Like if you really want to enter, you can definitely do all the historical open critic scores. Like I just pulled up.
Sure,
you can do that.
And I was just kind of having fun with it too.
You can kind of analyze that. But it's there's no wrong way to play it. But yeah, just it's interesting push pull is always like, oh, do you go with your heart or you go with kind of like the data? And there's no right answer. I mean, usually there is a right answer, but like, you just don't know it till later. But
do you want to tell me about your thought process behind a few of your, I don't know if we need to do go deep on every single line item, but you want to pick out a few of these and tell me what you were thinking with some of your other picks?
So on the rest of my lineup, here's a list of games that I drafted. I'll just kind of read it off, because for those of you who can't see it, so I had Forza Horizon 6, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Beasts of Reincarnation, which Gears of War E-Day, I'll come back to that one, Reanimal, and then my counter pick was Fable, because I just did not think that looked any good. Though I did not watch the latest Xbox Showcase before I did this. I kind of went on vibes and just how oft delayed and oft kind of how often this franchise has missed over the last couple decades. So
sure.
But I kind of went by like kind of best available in terms of least least risky in terms of coming out, and then also kind of a good upside. So after my second pick was Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I think Arc Systems is really good. I mean, I think they've, in terms of making a great fighting game, they've kind of been up there, and this has got a great franchise behind it. I played the beta or alpha test, whatever. Seems pretty solid. That's one there. And then I think after that, I kind of went, a little kind of risky, because I think after your first safe bets, you kind of need a risky pick in order to kind of shoot your way to the top, because sometimes the riskiest picks have the highest reward, and so usually later and mid to like late rounds in the draft, if anything, whether it's fantasy or whether it's gaming, fantasy football, if it's gaming, I'll pick something that kind of a little more risky. So that's why I picked Beasts of Reincarnation, which is a Game Freak game. But I think it's is it the first one, or is it like kind of one of the first ones outside of the Nintendo Pokemon?
Oh, they've done a
couple, right? Yeah,
other games, yeah.
They've been around
since like the 90s.
Have they done any non-Nintendo games?
They did like Pocket Card Jockey. They did Harmonite. Tembo the Badass Elephant. There were some other ones.
All right. Well, this seems like it just seemed like one of the first games they got like a huge budget, from with Microsoft, or kind of like working capital with them.
Yeah. All the other ones were kind of like little side projects.
Yeah. And so it's kind of their first big swing outside of like kind of the Nintendo, walled garden area. So I figured, why not? Let's see if Legends can work for Justin, this can work for me. So I'm going to see if this will be a hit. And then I went Gears of War E-Day because it's a later pick, and there's a lot of like indie games out there, and a lot of stuff that kind of really really have no idea. Like I kind of like have I don't mind a little risk, but I kind of want like something that's a little more kind of let's say like a high floor in terms of the points.
I mean, there's a high likelihood that a Gears of War game is going to get a decent score.
Yeah, especially a new entry into the franchise, which they're generally pretty decent. And then I did Reanimal because Little Nightmares has been pretty good. Like this is one of the games where I actually want to play myself too. So it's kind of a both head and heart situation. But they do good work over there. That team, they've been especially with co-op games. So this seems like an interesting one. And obviously I kind of like. Well, I'll go through briefly go through their teams as well. But I think just to see like what kind of games were picked. But that was my kind of my team there. That's where I drafted, and I'll leave the Monster Hunters for after you go through your team, just because it was one that I picked up after the draft.
Right.
So.
So we talked a little bit. You chastised me for picking Pokemon Gen 10 already. My next pick was Vampire Crawlers, which is the new game from Vampire Survivors creator Punkel.
Nice.
It is.
People love that game. I got a high score.
Yeah, the sophomore effort from a up and coming indie star is a little risky, but I feel pretty good about this one. Vampire Survivors. He clearly has a solid understanding of what makes a compelling game tick and how to keep people playing. playing. So I'm really excited to see how he takes the lessons he learned from Vampire Survivors and parlays that into this weird new thing that seems to take place in the same universe, but is a completely new type of game. It's like a dungeon crawling thing. It looks like a card deck building.
I didn't look too much
dungeon crawling. Like it looks weird, but it looks like a lot of fun. So I think that's a pretty solid bet. This next one is actually, I think, the one I feel most confident about.
Ace Combat.
Ultimately, Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves. The Ace Combat 7, man, people love Ace Combat 7. And this is a franchise that's been going forever. And this one, no pun intended, flies under lots of people's radar. It gets lots of love. Like, hold on, I'm going to go to Open Critic and look up.
You're going to look at this. I was going to pull it up too. But,
oh, yeah. Well, I'll keep talking while you look it up then. But yeah,
Ace, I had an 81.
So,
Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. 81.
Oh yeah, I thought it was higher than that, but yeah, I'm confident about Ace Combat 8 based on just the series pedigree and all the hype going into it after all the excitement that people had around Ace Combat 7 when it came out. Because I feel like even if it was only an 81 on Metacritic, I remember lots of really excited conversation about it. So I'm hoping that leads into something bigger and better for Ace Combat 8. And then we've got unannounced Final Fantasy 14 expansion, which is, like clockwork, they will announce and release a new Final Fantasy 14 expansion this year because there wasn't one last year. And they had a bit of a misstep with Dawn Trail. That was them kind of coming out of the 10-year saga they had just ended and trying to start something new. A little bit of a rocky start. I don't play the game anymore, but I still follow the fandom.
That's good. This is a good pick. I'm going to say I think this is a good late round pick because. Yeah, especially as someone who's played FF14, they've had some really, really high scoring expansions, some really truly classic games for them, what I've heard.
Yeah,
and I think it's a really high upside for a late round pick for sure.
And then
especially if you know it's going to come out.
Yep, and then my new game franchise is Orbitals, which just got a new. It actually just got a new look at the Nintendo Partner Showcase this morning. It's a co-op. It's a 2-player co-op adventure game, like 70s anime style. Kind of like. Did you ever see Interstellar 5555, the Daft Punk?
Yes,
so it's like that kind of style, like that animation style.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Was it like Dispatch or Japanese or different? Is it Dispatchy or like?
Maybe a little bit less polished than that.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
But check it out. It looks like a lot of fun. Very, very vibey. Looks like some pretty fun gameplay. After the gameplay we saw today, it looks all right. Like I don't know if it's going to be. It looks like a solid 8 out of 10, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Yeah. It's coming out later this year, and then we mentioned my counter pick earlier. It was Onimusha: Way of the Sword, which was one of the. It was. The only thing that was still available that looked like a decent counter pick because I never really got into Onimusha. This one doesn't look like it's going to be. It's like it's going to set the world on fire. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I went with. For no, I didn't have any really strong strategy behind that one. It just looked like the best pick.
Yeah, fair enough. So we just kind of scroll through their team just because people can see or we can talk about some of the games that Resident Evil Requiem. I think was another high pick.
He
Hollow Knight
counterpicked my Pokemon.
What's that?
Oh, I just saw that he counterpicked my Pokemon.
Yeah. So if you'll notice here, two of Justin's games got counterpicked. None of mine got counterpicked. Just to put that out there. But I think the Pokemon Generation 10 counterpick is probably a good one. I think just because it's Violet did not do that well, and I think it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good pick. So we'll see.
Yeah,
it's risky.
I think it's a little risky. I think the unannounced Final Fantasy counterpick was maybe coming from a place of, someone not familiar with Final Fantasy expansions, because it says unannounced, but if they announce and release in the same year as they always do, then that's something that's that's like a good expert move right there. I'd say a pro move if that's the case. But Mugenics is coming out soon. I think that'll be interesting.
The Hollow Knight DLC, Hollow Knight Silksong DLC. Does that count?
Yeah, we got DLC. I mean, you got your Final Fantasy DLC. We got DLC. I think the thing with DLC is interesting because a lot of times there's not enough scores for DLC because DLC doesn't really get reviewed that often anymore, or in terms of a volume. So if there's no score, that's a 0. But if it's if there's enough to get on the Metacritic or Open Critic thing, then that's could be a good pick.
Okay.
I know this.
Well, I guess this adds like a whole new chapter. Like it adds new story and like new stuff to. It's not just like there's some new trinkets.
Yeah. If you go to the DLC, like last year, I actually counterpicked Liza P DLC, and I actually got enough points to get scored. I got kind of screwed on there because I went by the they don't release no one scores DLC anymore. But yeah, they got a couple points there. But yeah, Phantom Blade Zero, yeah, it'll be interesting. Saros, I'm really excited for. I think
does look good.
It's a good new game franchise that I think it's by Housemarque. So like love how the guys at Housemarque and everything. Every game that has been pretty amazing. So we'll see there. What do you think about Pokemon Pokopia? I know that it's got counterpicked here, but as a Pokemon expert,
it looks fun. They're doing like a Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon type thing, but in the Pokemon world. Looks like they're doing some fun stuff with it. So I'll probably get it. My kid's gonna want to play it. It looks half interesting. So
do you think it'll score well?
Based on what I've seen, it looks like it'll get positive points. I don't know if it's gonna be more than a 90. I don't think it's gonna be more than like a 8.5 out of 10. It looks like an 8 out of 10 based on what I've seen. But you never know. Maybe it really breaks out of the mold and does something amazing.
I think my faith was shattered. I think a couple years ago I picked like a Princess Peach Showtime for Nintendo, because Nintendo could do it wrong. Every Nintendo first party game has gone over.
That was when they were scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to like keep that Switch moving until the Switch 2 came out.
That ended up biting me in the butt because I think it got like a 75, so it's probably like a net zero.
It's a straight up kids game.
It's a mid game, basically.
That's not even a family game. That's a kid game.
Yeah, and I understand. I think 75 is kind of a mid score, I'd say. I mean, because everything's kind of a little top heavy, number wise. Yeah. So now that we know Nintendo can do wrong in terms of not, they don't only make 90s, let's say, so a 90 scoring game. That's
sure. Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. And then this is as we can see, the Max here is in the lead right now with we already got 2 games scored, 3 and Karn, which are really solid scores. I think anything by 85 is kind of like good there, especially at 16 points. 70. So 70 is actually, I thought it was 75, but it's 70. It looks like 16 points for this. So,
okay, cool.
And then 3 just came out yesterday, actually, or today. So I think that'll score in a second. So we'll get our first leader here. But yeah, I think so this Grand Theft Auto 6, given that it'll probably come out this year, just given even like last week or so where Rockstar's kind of said that, hey, like they're going to be a physical edition. It's kind of the tea leaves are trending right there. So that could be kind of a miss on my end for missing it, but I was not gonna deal with that emotional trauma again.
GTA 6 can burn you 2 years in a row.
Yeah, fool me thrice. Nope, not there. So Marvel's Wolverine. I'm just gonna scroll through this, Justin. Sure. Any games that you kind of like, jump out at you?
Unannounced mainline Half-Life game. That's somebody picked that and somebody counterpicked that. That's going to lead to a lot of points one way or the other.
Yeah. Or if it doesn't come out, it's 0. So it's actually not that. It's not that risky of a counterpick, I'd say, because it's kind of a. Well, no, it's a risky counterpick if it comes out. If it doesn't come out.
I see Deltarune Chapter 5.
Yeah, that was on my list. I'm sad that I didn't get to pick that. I also was gonna pick the new Fire Emblem game, Fortune's Weave, because Fire Emblem is always really high scoring. They're pretty funny. I love those games as well. So
the fun meme in the Discord server is the Elliot game, the Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales.
Did you watch the preview this morning? Was that this morning or was that?
Was it
yesterday?
in there? I don't.
I think there's a Square Enix thing this morning.
Was there? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they showed some of this game. I forgot it was in Nintendo One or if there's separate, but there's some videos, so we gotta check that out. But
welcome to Philadelphia. Is that what it was? Welcome to Philadelphia. I love listening to Kyle Bosman talk about this game.
Oh, what's he talk? I have not heard him.
He just makes fun of it. Kyle Bosman is funny. He has a great YouTube series called Delayed Input. If you're not watching it, you should.
Nice. I'll keep that in mind. Super Meat Boy 3D, which is I didn't realize they're making a 3D version of this game, but I guess
they had it. They were showing it at where was I? PAX West. They had it set up, and they had they were doing contests to see who could speed run the demo the fastest, and you won a PC or something for first prize.
Nice.
So yeah, I wanted to play it, but I couldn't get away from the work I was doing there long enough to stand in line. It looked like fun though.
Yeah, no, I love the original Super Meat Boy. It's a great, it's hard, but yeah, it's a really good game. And then we see Dragon Quest VII Reimagined also came out this week. It's a solid 15 points. I think that's 85. That's kind of a good point total there. It's solid.
Mm-hmm. I see 007 First Light. What's your take? What's your take on 007 First Light?
I've been again, this is kind of personal bias. I think there hasn't been a good James Bond game in forever. Honestly,
yeah, but they haven't had IO Interactive making them.
Yep, and the Hitman series is really well reviewed all the time. Recently,
they've basically been making James Bond games this whole time.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. So this is actually, this is a solid pick. I just, again, this is for the human side of me. It's like I just cannot get over the fact that there's not been a good James Bond game since GoldenEye.
So I'm really jealous that Square Enix, oops, all Eliots picked Mina the Hollower because Mina the Hollower was. Right after I picked Pokemon, I was like, I should have picked Mina the Hollower because that's the cool dude, like the cool indie guy pick. Like, I know Mina the Hollower is going to be amazing because it's by Yacht Club Games.
Yeah. But again, this is one of the trauma situation. I think this is what's come out last year, and then whoever got it was also like
got delayed,
burned by it.
Got delayed. It was going to be out on Halloween, I think, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It
does not come out.
I messaged Celia, their community manager, and I was like, "Hey, congrats on launch!" And she was like, "Got delayed." And I was like, "Oh shit, my bad."
Oops, all idiots.
Whoops.
But how cool would it be actually if we got a Half-Life 3 basically, or even Alex 2, but a Half-Life 3 I think would be
it's got to happen eventually, right?
No, I don't know. This is one of those memes where it's like, Duke Nukem Forever did come out, but this might have been the biggest vaporware game ever.
We'll see. I mean, it sounds like there are inklings that it might actually be a thing this time.
Well, there is a delay for the Steam machine though. I saw that, or not delay, but it was out of the first first quarter into like the first half now. So they're not the first. They're shooting for the first half of 2026, not early 2026 as before. So
I want a Steam frame and I want the new Steam controller.
I haven't looked too much into it, but I'm down. What makes you wait? We'll go fast. What makes you want this?
Steam Frame is the VR headset. It's basically a Meta Quest that you don't have to log into Facebook with. So I'll take that.
And the controller.
Also, the tech looks amazing in it, and it's made by Valve, so I'm sure the tech's going to be amazing. The controller, I mean, it looks like the Steam controller way back when was pretty well regarded for what it was, and this looks like it takes that idea and expands on it. Has the cool, like, kind of, what's the word? The angled track pads where your thumbs rest. That I don't know. I do a lot of like streaming. I have an NVIDIA Shield hooked up to my TV, and I stream my PC to that. Yep. Because I bought it when you mentioned that you got one on sale. I didn't realize you got it. I was like, are they on sale? And I went and I looked. I was like, I've been thinking about getting one too. So I went ahead and got one too. So thanks for that.
Black Friday last year. Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, so I've got that Ethernet all hardwired. It's all set up for perfect streaming and all that stuff. So I do some PC. I had my PC just HDMI'd up to my TV, but it was taking up so much space in the living room. So I do play PC games with a controller. So I mean, I'm always on the hunt for the best way to do that. And there's not the
Edge. The DualSense Edge, I think I cannot get past it as like the best feeling controller.
Yeah, it's fine, but it doesn't. It's just like PC little like finicky stuff, like the screenshot buttons doesn't take a screenshot, stuff like that. It's just I'm always looking for because the DualSense Edge feels great, and I can pair it to the PC, but there are no native DualSense drivers. You're not getting the full, haptic whatever with like you would be if you played it on a PS5. So it's just little stuff like that. So I'm always down to try new PC controllers or new controllers in general and see what they bring to the table and see how they improve the experience. And especially because so much of PC gaming is centered around Steam, this being a literal Steam controller, I mean,
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
The previous controller I was not too like jazzed about, and like even the Steam Deck controller does not work for me personally. I have a hand injury, so I cannot use that thing at all. So it's I'm so I'm curious to see how this turns out, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then moving on, I think what jumps out to me is I really wanted to get Control Resonant. I'm a huge Control fan. It was my game of the year that year. I think the first one came out. So I think anytime you see like a follow up to a game of the year or game of a developer of the year, that's always kind of like a good, kind of an exciting prospect, right? It's like, oh, can they match that? Can they beat it? Whatnot. So the Control Resonant I think is be interesting one. Though I don't think this is a direct sequel to Control. I think this might be another like semi spin-off kind of scenario.
I'm not sure. The trailer made it look interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of it's definitely. I mean, it's set in the universe for sure.
Sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Unannounced mainline 3D Mario platform. Do we think a new Mario 3D platformer is coming out this year? I think maybe one gets announced, but that team just made Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Like, unless I think during the draft there was some brouhaha and some fun ribbing about this this big, but this is the kind of like the best copium I think we can have.
Yeah.
I
won't argue with a new Mario game, but
I also love a new Mario game. So
I'm jealous that person got Rhythm Heaven Groove though, because that's
interesting that no one counterpicked it. This might have been a good counterpick.
Yeah, I think I just didn't see that available. I probably would have counterpicked that if I saw it.
Yes, and Rhythm Heaven Groove I'm excited for too. But I don't know if they score well, right? Do they score well? I think I'd love the series.
They're usually decent. I think they're usually like 8s. While you're moving on, I'll look that up.
Yeah. This is interesting. It's like I think, and I hate this in real life at dinners and stuff. I hate going on my phone, looking on Google, and like kind of fact checking people, because that's just not fun. Like you're not having fun doing that.
It's good for a podcast though.
But I think this is just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, like it could be just on vibes. Like like we like the stuff so much that we have it on vibes.
Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix was an 81.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of that's kind of. I kind of shoot for at least like an 85 game. That's if I'm trying to draft it for this purposes, I think you want an 85 or so. So if you, but this is also the ranges in which like I love this series so much. I want it to be high, therefore I'm going to get it. So I think I would have probably picked this later on in the draft too if I at that as well. Then we get on to the Fable, which I counterpicked, what I don't have any faith for, but. I did enjoy the original game with
I played the first one when it came out and I liked it, but I don't think I've enjoyed one since.
The Dust Souls will be interesting as well. I think that'll be interesting. And then I'm also excited for Mixtape, and I thought about getting Kiln as well, because I love Double Fine games. They're usually kind of a fun and they're really well made, really solid. Especially obviously your Psychonauts, your stuff, but I want to quickly go over also before we wrap up is kind of the bidding system. So I don't know if you, I don't think you've actually put any bids in yet, Justin, but you do know that basically we have empty slots on each of our teams. And so we only do 5 out of the 8 slots drafted. And then the last 3, you get kind of that flexibility of picking stuff up off the waiver wire, as they say in fantasy sports. So essentially there's a pool, anything that didn't get drafted is fair game. And so you're able to, I think before Thursday afternoon. So I think we actually got a counter right here, 3.5 hours to get your bids in. So everything you need to bid. But you put in a bid for what you want to pick up off of the open list. So as you can see up here, you can make a bid. I'm just going to click this so anyone's watching the YouTube can see it, but also we'll say that, hey, like, World of Warcraft Midnight didn't get picked, or Mario Tennis Fever, or Romeo's a Dead Man, which I really want to play from Suda. It's a Suda game, right? I think because you're able to kind of pick, like, make a bid for something off the waiver wire, you can grab that for your team. And so that's why I did it last week, because I noticed that Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection did not get drafted. And I was like, that should be a pretty solid, like, kind of point getter.
Okay.
So I just threw like in a low bid for that, and I ended up with that. And I think some other people got some things too, like Screamer and Another Gungeon 2, Dawnwalker. So you can see kind of like the Kiln, I think. So not going over them, but so you're able to kind of pick up stuff off the wire. And yeah, so on first phase is tonight, and then on Sunday, and then so they'll reveal which games are bid on. And then by Sunday, everyone else kind of like put in their bid, so you can try to outbid somebody for that game by Sunday. And then Sunday is when they tell you, like, if you kind of like, if you won the auction and the game's on your team.
Okay, I'm looking at this right now. I'm about to bid on something, I think.
What are you gonna bid on?
I just did it. Let's see if you refresh. Will it?
Well, we'll know in 3.5 hours. But like,
I bid for Scott Pilgrim EX.
Ah, nice. I love Scott Pilgrim, and I hope that game does really
it's
well.
Tribute, and they have just been honing their craft over the past years, and they're just getting better and better. So,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's a fun, it's a fun game. I think, I think then we can always play the game where it's like, you can juggle your game, you can drop your games. We kind of made it a little more lean on drops, because I think it's more fun to like have something you can do throughout the year. I think the default rules for this game is that you kind of pick your stuff in the beginning and you kind of just, let it happen. But I think that's not as fun as, being able to follow announcements. I think the most fun I have with this game is like kind of following, like these like Nintendo Directs or these Xbox Live Showcases or these State of Plays where like everyone's, they'll reveal new games throughout the year. They'll announce new games, and more exciting ones are the ones that are going to come out, the same year, right? Or like the shadow drops or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so that's where you kind of like, that's where like kind of the auction really comes into play, is that, there's a new Blink coming out this year, or when you're finally launch your Final Fantasy expansion, like that's where it kind of gets interesting, because that's where you can win your league. Is that if you like shadow drop a new mainland Mario, that new mainland Zelda got dropped, that's a league winner right there. That's a free a free 90 plus, that's
yeah. And there'll be some of those getting announced over the next few months.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see some of those as the year goes on.
Yeah.
Fun. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up on Fantasy Critic. Anything else you want to add to this?
I think that's good. That about covers it. I'm feeling moderately confident about my draft.
Yeah, and you can always, obviously, except for the ones you counterpicked, you can always change them, right? I think you can always.
Can you?
You can swap. Yeah. So you can, if you don't like anyone, you can swap them. So you can, when you pick up something when you bid for something, you can either, if you're full, you can swap it, basically.
I see. Good to know.
So also I'm kind of like laissez-faire on like what I'm picking up right now, is because I know I have the flexibility until the game comes out. Though if the game comes out, then you cannot drop it anymore. But until it comes out, then you're able to kind of like swap seeds. So you'll just have to go through the bidding process. So
cool.
So this will be a really fun thing for us to like monitor throughout the year. Really fun way of following games industry, and talk about games and kind of so we want to shout out again our fantasy league, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It'll be a fun games filled year, and it's always fun to like kind of try out new demos. I think today there's a demo for Pragmata, another game that came out. So, and the game,
let's play some cards. Do my best raspy Geralt.
But yeah, I think that's it for this time. Justin, you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up our episode?
Video games are cool.
Video games are cool. Please check us out on our new website. We got a new website at sharedbytes.net. It's got all of our contact info, so if you want to give us some feedback, thoughts, questions, whatever, shoot us a line. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Okay.